What up, world? Waxvillain, Seattle, Washington. You already know what it is. Welcome to Waxvillain Fireside Chat. We got greatness in the building. Industry music group, singer-songwriter Miriah Avila is pulling up. Keep it locked. We'll kick things off real soon, y'all.
You got me in the time.
Appreciate everybody pulling up on the line. Johnny David, we see you, brother. 459 in the building. We see you. Mama's in the house. Yeah, what up? What up? Groovy MS in the building. We see you, sis. What up, Rach? We see you. Everybody pulling up tonight. What up, PHP Soul Funk? We see you, brother. Spooky's Oldies in the building. Yeah, Roy C. Everybody pulling up tonight. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Stoked. They ain't ready, though. Manny Bow Ties in the house. We see you. Don't get jumped, my brother. Appreciate you pulling up. What up, O? D-Love in the building. Gonna kick things off real soon. Emerald City Soul Club in the house. We see you. What up, Mark? 20 on the line. Rue, I might need you to give Miriah a text real quick. Saying she's unable to join. Try one more time. We got another one in the tank. I guess we'll spin it. What up, Louie? We see you. Make sure y'all check out IMG's Bandcamp. You see the label. It's candy coated. We're working through some technical difficulties, y'all. Stand by. Yeah. Request sent. Chris Lou in the building. We see you. Thanks, Rue. Appreciate you. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I was a little nervous.
Don't be nervous.
I was a little nervous.
Don't be nervous. I'm good. How are you?
Like 5%. How are you? I'm fantastic. I appreciate the background you got there. The lights are shining on you. You're glowing tonight. I love it. So,
that's good.
Whoa, you're kind of popular.
So excited.
There's 53 on the line.
Yeah, let me set this back just a little bit more.
If you're ready, I'll go ahead and kick things off.
The light is really beaming on me right now.
Okay. Take your time.
Okay. Good. We're good. Cool.
Maybe just put it down a little bit.
Perfect.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Cool.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Got the merch on.
I love it like that. You got the merch on. I see it. All right. I want to welcome everybody to Waxvillain Fireside Chat. Fireside Chats are similar to interviews, however, we take time to do the research. We want to make sure we're not duplicating efforts. More importantly, we want to support and strengthen what's out there. We got show and tell tonight. We got about 8-10 questions, y'all. I think we're going to go about 50 minutes. I'm super stoked. Now, when it comes to tonight's guest, when I was doing my research, it reminded me like I was reading a book, like a movie, because it all started at the age of 5 years old when Miriah and her sisters wanted to cheer her mother up. So they would get together and they would perform for her. It was at that moment that her mother recognized Miriah's special singing ability. And she would phone her grandmother, and from there, Miriah would begin a journey, singing in front of audiences of all sizes across the state of California. As she would begin to hone her skills, she would audition for shows like The Voice and other popular shows like that. It was in the early 2000s, as a member of our favorite soul brother, Rocky Padilla's band, that she would meet DJ Cazell and DJ 459 of Industry Music Group. Fast forward to 2023, she's put out a full-length album, just under a dozen singles, collaborations, and is one of the most celebrated singer-songwriters on our scene today. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the one, the only,
what's up,
the
you
pride
guys?
of La Puente, California, Miss Miriah
Having a great day today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm doing good. I'm doing really good.
How are you doing though?
I'm doing good. I've been so busy, but extremely blessed.
Good.
Extremely blessed. Yeah.
I love that. Now, there might be some new fans.
So my
on the
name
call
is
watching
Miriah
right now,
Avila.
so please go ahead and introduce
I'm
yourself.
signed to Industry Music Group, right here, with DJ Cazell. I'm a singer, soul writer. I been producing my songs for some time now. I've been with the label for a couple of years, and we've just been doing amazing things. I am a mother. I do have a 9-year-old. Let's see. I grew up in La Puente. I started singing Spanish music first at a very, very young age. I was 6 years old, singing Spanish, mariachi music first. And then later on, I started singing stuff that I wanted to sing. And my mom was like, "What do you want to sing, mija?" And I was like, "I want to sing oldies." and it just kicked off like that. And she introduced me. I mean, I grew up listening to oldies. I've always said this story about, you know, hitting the boulevard, the Whittier Boulevard in my mom's Astro van and listening to Mary Wells. And I grew up listening to oldies, and I just had a better connection with soul music. So here I am. here I am doing music. So
yeah. So I want to start with the reflection question. You know, when you think about your journey, what is your reason? What is your why for continuing to push through and to stay on this journey? And what are some of the things that you want to accomplish in 2023?
Foremost would be my son, to let him know to keep pushing on whatever dreams, and to never give up.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I've been doing it at a young age. Like music is like all I know, you know, and it's like, it's in your DNA. Yeah. And it's a comfort thing. And
it's true.
That's the reason. Josiah is my reason to keep pushing. So that's his name, Josiah. So Miriah, Josiah. Yeah, not mom.
Okay.
And for 2023, I really want to tour. I really want to hit different cities, different states. My dream would go to Japan and sing in Japan. I think that would be amazing. And yeah, to tour with my band, because I do have a 12-piece band. So yeah, we're a big band. So, and that's
12 Maybe
yeah.
it's a
So
good time for me to let you
bass,
introduce
we
some
have
of your
Adrian
band members real
Carmine.
quick.
I'm sure you guys are familiar with him. He's amazing. Singer, songwriter. He's great. He's amazing. We have BZ the Realtor, which is my drummer. Great drummer. We have Mark that's on the keys. You guys have I think you guys have seen him. He plays with a couple of other bands. And then we have my 2 horn players, Luis Rojos. He's great. Super, super nice kids. And we have Jeff.
Okay.
And who else am I missing, though? Who am I missing?
Your sister?
My sister!
Okay.
Sorry, sister. My backup singer. I have my little sister, Sarah Avila, that sings backup for me. And I'm missing one more person.
One more person. Wally.
Wally. How can I forget Wally? Jeez. And he's from Angel City.
Angel City Band.
Yeah, Angel City Band. And he plays for Jackie Mendez as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, she's great. Yeah,
Shout out to
that's
Jackie.
my band.
Look at-
And they're amazing. They're so much fun. A lot of energy in the band. And they're just go-getters. Like, they're just like, whatever you want to do, Miriah, let's do it. Like, they're just totally down. And I love them. Yeah.
I love that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
always great when
Oh,
there's
yeah.
flexibility, people being open to ideas and things like that. What I'd really like to know is this, though, because early on in your journey, you did a lot of performing. And then in the later stages, you're starting to hit the recording studio, you're collaborating with people. Which do you like more? Spending time on the stage in front of the
Do I have
audience
to pick
or
one?
creating in the studio?
I mean,
You don't. That's the best
stage
part
is,
about it.
there's really no comparison of that one. The stage is a whole different vibe. I get to, be myself on a stage, if that makes any sense. And I'm able to like get all this energy from the audience and just really take in that moment and just take in that moment. And and with the studio, I like the studio because I'm able to learn, and take as much as I can from whoever I'm working with, producers, songwriters, and it's just taking all that in a different way. So learning and then like really just taking in that moment on stage. So I mean, that's a hard one to pick.
It is kind of tough. But let me ask this then. Is there a show that stands out in your mind as
There's
that
2.
was the one memory there that I think of often?
There's
that
2. Okay, the first one would be last year I did a show at the Toyota Arena, and I opened up for Duran Jones and the Indications.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one was huge. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That one was huge. That was like one of the moments where it's crazy when you're singing on stage and you just have like all this energy just coming, and it's actually an emotional moment. Like I wanted to cry because I was like, wow, this is what it feels like to be on a big stage in this big ass arena. That was like, dang, this is so dope. And my second one would be we did a show at the Granada Theater in Ontario, and I got to perform my grandmother's song "You in Love Again" for the first time for her. So that was more of like a sentimental thing for me, and that's something that I will never ever forget. And she was literally like center stage, and I got to see her face and everything. That's like something that I will never ever forget. So I have 2.
Yeah. Nope, that's great. And so a follow-up on that, 2022 is kind of the first time that I started playing records in front of people.
Yeah.
And, to kind of hear the music on the big speakers is one thing. When people come up to you and they say thank you or they have a story to share with you, it's really special. Can you maybe talk about, you know, your relationship with the fans and maybe a takeaway that you have from your music and the impact it's made?
It's crazy. It's still kind of mind blowing for me when people come up to me and tell me, "Oh my gosh, I have all your records."
Okay.
I'm like, "What the heck?" They're like, yeah, I love all of them, and I'm just like, it's like a surreal moment of when people really do come up to you and they're like bumping your music or just I don't know. It's just crazy. It really hasn't even registered in my brain. I still walk out like, hi guys, I'm just Miriah Avila and I sing, you know? So when people come up to me, like today I did a gig today and I had little girls come up to me and they're the ages of 10 to 8 years old.
That's got to be super special.
And they were like, I love you so much. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know? So it's yeah, for people to actually have like records and to spend, you know, money like because they really enjoy listening to my music is it's mind blowing. It just still hasn't really set in my brain that this is happening. So yeah.
Yeah. You know, I often think about like game faces, right? Whether it's sports, whether it's getting ready to go on stage. Can you talk about, you know, the prep, the mindset that you have, whether it's going on the stage or, you know, you're going into the studio to record with JQ. Give us a lens into what you are doing to kind of prepare for that.
Just for studio time, I'm just very like open-minded with certain things. I like to kind of get, you know, the producer or the songwriter, whoever I'm working with, what they think, you know, and just prepping so much like just that stuff. Now for shows, it's a whole different ball game. First live shows, people are like my family, like my sister and my mother, like, what's wrong with you? Or no, they kind of already know how I am. I'm very quiet when I'm about to hit stage, and like I won't say anything. They think I'm like upset, but I'm really not. I'm just focused. I'm just trying to focus on what I'm doing or what I'm gonna do, or just like kind of gathering myself together. There is a bigger prep as far as shows, and it's just, I don't know, I'm kind of a perfectionist as too, and I just want everything to go very well. Now I prefer the studio because once again I'm able to like just take in all that, the ability to just learn. I'm so big on just learning. I will just sit there and listen. I will sit there and listen and observe everything that's going around in the room and just, take in that. So so there's the prep for each one.
That's really interesting because, you know, sometimes musicians, lead singers, it's like they have this vision. And it doesn't matter what shape the room is, it's got to fit the size that they want and everything like that. So I think it's fantastic that, you know, you have this like dedication to learning and being open to things. Speaking of learning, I actually want to share a quote with you that you know, stood out in my mind. It goes, "If you can see far, it's because you've stood on the shoulders of giants." And that's by Sir Isaac Newton. So with that said, when you reflect on those that have been a big inspiration, those that have guided you, who are some of the people that come to mind?
My mom. And my mother, because she's literally been by my side since I started singing. And she's been the inspiration for me to keep going. Even when I felt like I was like, I can't, like, I don't want to do this, or I can't do this. And she was like, no, girl, you better get your booty out there and do it.
Wow.
You know, she's believed in me since day one. So that's the top of my list. Of course, my family, and second would be the label. So they saw a vision in me, and I was like, okay, if they believe in me, then, you know, this needs to happen. And this is DJ Cazell and DJ 459 and the whole team of IMG. So they've been there to push me and to inspire me.
Sure.
Cazell's here, by the way.
Follow up on that. What up, bro? We see you. Just to follow up on that real quick, you know, oftentimes when we're doing interviews, we hear about the highlights, the big bright lights, and all the celebration. And you kind of talked about a moment of wanting to stop what you're doing, which sounds crazy, knowing the impact that you've made. Can you talk a little bit about being in this industry and having to kind of navigate the challenges and
tough.
hurdles?
I think being in this industry, you have to have tough skin and be open to being criticized, you know, of whether you're singing a certain song or whatever the case is. And you kind of have to, for myself, it's kind of a thing where I'm not really doing it for anybody else but myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I do care about what, what the audience has to say, or, the feedback of it. But like, ultimately, this is what I want to do. This is my dream, and you just have to keep pushing. You just have to keep pushing.
Yeah.
And, one of the struggles was when I wanted to stop, or I did stop. I stopped singing for about 1.5 years. Right after I had my son, and that's because, motherhood came in and I wanted to be a good mom. And I was like, no, I need to focus on my kid, But, things happen and, music just came back and just saved me, It saved me the first time. I grew up with a single mom. My mom's a single parent. And my dad left when I was about 4 years old. And a lot of people come up to me like, oh, did you struggle? This and this and this. And I'm just like, I don't think so. I was like, because music came into my life at a perfect time. I was 6 years old. So that was the first time. And then the second time when I wanted to take a break, and music came back into my life. I was like, no, girl, you need to get your booty out there and do what you want to do, and I'm glad. But once again, my mother was the one to push me to do it. So yeah, being in this industry can be really tough. And there's so many talented people that could really sing and play and all that. But it's just, you have to do it for yourself, for here in your heart. So yeah.
I've always said when I first got into music, or even vinyl, it was through making beats. And I thought to myself, music was going to be this experience that too, and you've had great people around you. What I'd really love to dive into is your sound. And so me, when I hear a record come on, I remember when I first heard Industry Music Group records, I said, "Ooh, that voice," but not really knowing how to articulate, what I'm hearing and everything like that. Can you talk about how you found your sound? I like to say big voice, big vocals when you're singing. But maybe you can just give us a lens into that and talk about, the different chapters. You've sung different genres of music, but this is definitely your sweet spot that I think you'd call home now. So give us a lens into finding your sound.
Oh my goodness. So at a very young age, started singing mariachi music, and I think that's where the power comes from. Okay. And then later on, when I was maybe about 19, I attended college, Citrus College. Now I was singing pop music at that time, and it just didn't feel right, but I did it anyways. But I learned a lot in college. Yeah. And then I did jazz music, and I felt like that was more of a comfort thing for me. And then later on, I was like, I gotta go back to oldies. I gotta go back to the soul, because that's where it just, and then I just matured. I just learned. I learned what I was able to do with my voice. I was still learning in that process of like what felt right, what felt weird, what sounds good. And of course, the people that I listen to on a daily, like Aretha Franklin is one of the tops. Etta James, Patty Drew, Barbara Mason, like those are all female vocalists that I look up to. And I was able to like kind of grab a little bit of what I liked from them and just turn it, and I Miriah-ized it and made it my own sound. That's fantastic. So yeah, it's been a journey with him, with my vocals. And I feel like right now, like my voice is like prime. It's my prime time right now.
You got to feel it.
Oh yeah. You know what's so funny is that I was listening to Agree to Disagree, and then my recent soundtrack was the Gem.
Yeah.
Huge difference. Huge difference. I mean, I'm my own like worst critic, but I was like, oh my gosh, she sounds like a little girl. You know, now I'm like, damn, she looks like a grown ass woman. You know what I mean? But it's like that. But it's just the learning that of, you know, finding myself and finding my voice.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what it took. And I'm cool with that. And there's still more for me to learn too.
One of the things that I think that's beautiful about what you said is that, you know, for us enthusiasts of soul and vinyl, that progression is kind of documented, right, through each of these records. And so we get to kind of listen and kind of reminisce and say, oh, you can hear the growth, you can see it.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. One of the things that I also want to talk about, and I think this is like one of the most under talked about stories on the indie soul scene, is your working friendship with one of the greatest creators, producers, singers, instrumentalists, JQ. Can you give us a lens into your relationship with JQ and maybe tell us some things that you've learned from him along the way?
Oh my goodness. Joey Quinones. That man is a freak of nature. Okay. He is amazing. He plays like 13 instruments. I always joke around and say, hey, if I gave him my chancla, he could probably do something with that too. Because that's how talented. That experience was good. I really enjoyed working with Joey. Mm-hmm. He I always kid around. I'm like, Joey, you're like the Smokey Robinson of the Chicanos. You know? You're like the Smokey. And I did learn a whole different vibe from him as far as, you know, the difference between like oldies that I grew up to and then just like that modern soul, you know? Yeah. And he was the man to like put it in my brain like, hey, this is like the new thing, girl. I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. So an Agree to Disagree came out. You know, he wrote the song, he produced the track, and he's like, what do you think? I'm like, I like it. I really do like it. But I'm going to Miriah-nize it, okay? And he was like, all right. Because we do have a little different style as far as having our vocals are a little different. Yeah. And he's like, no, that's all I want you to do. But to sit there in a room with him and see him make a track in about, I don't know, 2 hours. He's on the drums, he's on the keys, he's on the guitar, he's on the bass, and like then I see him playing trumpet. I'm like, what the heck? I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I was like, wow, yeah. Like just the amount of talent in the room out of one individual is crazy. Yeah. And the writing sessions with him were great too. We wrote a Forever, and you know, it was kind of I was really nervous. I was really nervous to work with him because I was like, oh my god, this man has like all these, you know, these songs and he's great. And he was super nice, super patient. He was like, you know, it's okay. It's like whatever thoughts you have, whatever you want, put it on paper. I'm okay. So he did. That was the growth part of it. And that experience was great. And we did have moments together as far as like, dude, that track was mind blowing. Mm-hmm. You in Love Again was one of them. That track my grandmother wrote. I found that song. My mother found that song in a box with her 45s. Okay. So when I brought it to Joey, he was like, I remember his face because I was like, hey, check the lyrics out. And he's like, grandma was great. He was like, yeah. Damn, like this is really good. And it was so weird because he was like, I think I might have a track for that song. I'm like, really? And he literally put it on and it was just like, wow, just like butter. Like, wow. It just, yeah, like it was like if that track was just sitting there waiting for me. It was weird. And you know, we had that. My grandma didn't have a bridge, so we wrote a bridge together. And I'm trying to figure out like, Joey, I don't know what to put. Like, and first, Joe, it's so funny because I'm like, Joey, all your songs are sad. He's like, almost that man. I'm like, dude, who hurt you? And so we had to bring up a bridge, and I remember him saying, because in this lifetime there is no end, something like that. And I was like, how did he just come up with that? Just like that. Like, no problem. And yeah, he's amazing to work with.
Yeah.
And just the amount of talent is just crazy. And it was a privilege to hang out with him, to write with him, to record. It was amazing. Great guy, great musician.
Yeah. We have, you know, the lens through Instagram when Joey goes live, and will kind of show us little scenes from the studio and everything like that. And I've always said he's like the Quincy Jones of our scene, just in terms of the way he's able to create, to produce, and you see him, and it just looks so natural. Like, this is what he was supposed to be doing in life. And it took going to see him when he came to Seattle, because in Seattle, we don't always get live soul shows coming through like y'all have in California. But to see this man on stage in the middle of the band, packed house, the way that he controlled that crowd, it was like a woke moment for me. And I said, man, he's one of the best performers I think I've ever seen. You know, the way that he can do it. So he's very, very special. And I just think, you know, I wanted to acknowledge kind of that working relationship that y'all have and how it started back then. And here we are in 2023. You guys' careers are blossoming and just going sky high. Everybody loves a good story. So can you tell us a Miriah Joey Q story? Maybe something funny, maybe something, you know, in the studio where we had a breakthrough moment or something like that.
Let's see. Dang, there's a lot. There's a lot of stories. I would have to say the first time we recorded I Want You Around. I Want You Around was a good one. And it was so easy. I think it only took a couple of takes to record that song, and that's one of the favorite songs. A live performance we did was at the Granada, right?
Yeah.
It was at the Granada, and I'm singing I Want You Around, and out of nowhere, I see Joey just jump on stage. And so whoever like captured that moment of us singing that song together was like, It was just the highlight of the whole night. So that was a good, like, that's a good memory to have, that, you know, we got to share on the same, the song at the same stage. What other one?
Is there a
and then our
funny story?
Funny story. Dang, I can't think of any. I can't think of any good. There's too many. There's too many funny stories. No, not that I could think of top of my head.
That's okay.
But yeah, he is a funny guy too. For his birthday, I was like, "What do you need for your birthday?" He's like, "Oh, it's okay." He likes to drink gin.
I thought it was Jack.
Jack and Coke.
Okay.
So I'm like, "Hey, happy birthday." There was a lot of good moments in the studio with him. Even writing How Long. There's a certain part in the song where I wanted to change it up. And he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I'm like this. I was like, I wanted to sound like this. And he's like, that's interesting. Okay. All right. You're fancy. So we would joke around like that. Or just like, hey, Joey, how about you sing backups today? Because his range is crazy. Mm-hmm. He's like, no, you could do it. I'm like, no, you sing. It was just a lot of just cool times and just a lot of jamming out. I liked sitting down with him and just showing him all this different types of music. I'm like, hey, have you heard this track? Hey, have you heard this track? Hey, have you heard? He's like, no. It was like, we could just sit here for hours and talk about music. Yeah. It's like, hey, how about this song? Hey, how about this song? And he's like, damn, that's really dope. That's really cool. Yeah, so it was.
No, that's awesome.
Cool.
And I appreciate you kind of giving us a lens into the banter that you have, and it makes sense why y'all sound so good together. You know, when you're singing, when he's producing. Let's go ahead and shift and talk about some of the music that you've put out. I want to start with 2023 Slow Change Up, which is a cover by Sweet Breeze on the Willpower label. Give us a lens into that. That's your latest. What can you tell us about that song? What inspired it?
Oh
And I
my,
know that the IMG team is big. From the Rubens and all that. Talk about how all of that factors into your music.
so Slow Change Up, that's actually one of my favorite songs to sing.
Okay.
And because no one really knows that song or they haven't heard it. Some people think it's my original, but it's not. It's a cover.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that song on like a shuffle on Pandora.
Okay.
And I was like, whoa, this is really cool. Backups, who's singing backups on that track is Myron. So shout out to Myron.
Okay.
So
Myron Glassberg.
If you hear the male vocalist, that's him singing like backups. And it's a beautiful song. And I wanted to do obviously another cover, but I really wanted to dig into like the underground oldies. Only
you
because
did with that one for sure.
Yeah, they don't get too much love, you know? And that song is so good. It is such a good song. Mm-hmm. And that's when like Ruben Molina comes in and he's more of like the OG of like, hey, Mija, have you heard this track? I'm like, no, I don't even know it existed. So yeah, like Ruben Molina, of course, Cazelle and Ruben, DJ 459, we all kind of sit together and like, hey, what do you think about this track? Or what do you, you know, do you like it? Do you not like it? And Slow Change Up was definitely like, we have to record this. We have to get it. We have to. And the vinyl just was released about a month ago. And it's a cool color. It's a nice bright yellow color.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the recent one.
Now let's talk about the gem, because this was kind of a milestone moment for you when it comes to putting this song together. I'll let you talk about it though.
Ooh, okay, the gem. It's the first song I've ever wrote. Yeah. And so there's a lot of emotion and feelings in that song, and I think the ladies can really relate to that. And even, you know what? Even the guys, because when that song came out, a couple of guys were hitting me up like, "Hey, are you talking about me?" I'm like, "What?"
What?
He's like, I feel like I'm being attacked. I'm like, no. So it could go either way, you know, for guys, girls. So yeah, that's like all Miriah Avila. That's all her right there. My heart was poured into that song. And once again, Joey Quinones came in and made a track for us, and it just did this again. It just did this. And I was like, whoa, I think we have something good. And Tony G was also a part of that project too. And he really, really pushed me outside my comfort zone. So shout out to Tony G, because I wasn't too sure of what I wanted to do with the track as far as like the backgrounds and, you know, stuff like that, or what to add, what to take out. Is it too much? Does it sound dumb? Is it, you know, like and he was like, Mija, like, just trust your gut and just do you. I'm like, okay, all right. So then of course I had help with the backup vocals. Elvia Cadena was a backup singer for me, myself, and then a good friend of mine, Serena. And the girls just came in and they laid down the backup vocals. I told them what to sing. I told them this is the way it goes, and let's get it going. And yeah, that song, The Gem, that's Miriah Avila. If you ever want to just, that's Miriah.
I love the way you're talking about it. You can tell the passion and energy that you have for that song.
Oh my gosh, you could really hear it towards the ending of the song. And I'm telling you, when Tony G was like pushing me, he was like, no, I think you could do something else. I think you could do something else. I think so. Towards the end of the song, you could hear me hitting those like whistle notes up like really, really high. And we all had a moment, because he was really drilling me that day. And I'm like, dude, like, what would I do? Okay, what would I really do? And I just remember just hitting those notes, you know, going crazy. And I turned and they were all like, where the hell did that come from?
Right?
You know?
Wow.
Yes, yes,
Ah,
you know,
ah.
they were just so amazed, and that it stepped up the whole, like, we all just went, ugh. Like, it was like a level of like,
Ooh.
it was cool. So shout out to Tony G for, you know, pushing my butt to, you know, like, this is, you sound great. So yeah, that's just all me. That the gem is Miriah Avila. I put my heart and my soul into that song.
That's
So
awesome. Awesome. Let's talk about Hypnotized, because that's a popular cover. Barbara Mason, and she actually heard that and reached out to give you daps. But I want you to kind of talk about that experience from that first listen to recording it to the reception, and how much folks love it when you perform it live.
so for Hypnotize,
Yeah.
so Hypnotize, that was the first single that we released with, you know, with IMG, and we wanted to pretty much take a familiar oldie that, you know, everybody would be familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we chose Hypnotize, and plus the video was shot at in La Puente too, so I kind of wanted to stick to my roots there. Joey Quinones produced the track. Backup vocals was Joey Quinones, Rocky Padilla, and myself, and that was a good little, like, just kick, you know, just to throw IMG out there, to throw myself out there, to kind of get recognized by other, you know, the audience, and kind of get their good feedback. The video was just like, I think that's one of my favorite videos because of all the beautiful cars in it. Man,
Yeah.
shout out to Riverside. Oh, what's their name? Oldies Car Club. We were like, hey guys, you guys want to be in a video? All we need is a couple of cars. They came in deep, dude. There was like 12 cars.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, they were super supportive. Yeah, and Hypnotize, that's just has a special little place in my heart, because that's where it all started, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like I sing it completely different now. So when I go back and I listen to the track, I'm like, man, I sound like a little baby now compared to now. But I do love Hypnotize, and that's actually one of my favorite songs. Like, I remember, like, as a kid listening to that song. In high school, I remember listening to that song. Yeah. Now for You Never Loved Me, oh my gosh, that wasn't even supposed to come out. We wanted to do like a medley of Change Me and You Never Loved Me, and kind of do like a little tribute thing for Barbara Mason. And I laid the track down for Change Me, and then I came in and I did the track for You Never Loved Me at All. And my team was just like, wow, you really out-sang the shit out of that song. I don't think we could do a medley. I don't think we could. I don't think we should. It should be a single. Yeah. And yeah, and I was terrified. I was like, oh, I'm not too sure. You know, Barbara Mason is like the queen right now. Like, she's the queen. I was scared. I was like, damn, did I do a good job? Or, you know, are the people gonna like it? Or is she gonna like it? But, you know, our team, we took a chance, and we're like, okay, well, we released the track, and then we did a cool video. Shout out to Johnny David, because he was my love interest in that video.
Okay.
And yeah, and Barbara ended up calling us, and my team was like, you should give a call to Miriah. And my team was like, hey, you know, you're gonna get a phone call. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So she calls, and I'm like, oh, hello. She's like, is this Miss Avila? And I'm like, Barbara. Yeah. I was like, Miss Mason? She was like, yes, Judy. I'm like, ah! I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. I was shaking. I was sweaty. My mother was like, what the hell's wrong with you? And I'm like, it's Barbara Mason. This is Barbara Mason. Are you tripping? You know? Yeah. And she's like, oh my God. We talked on the phone for maybe about at least 2 hours.
Wow.
On the phone.
Wow.
And the first thing she said was, I just want to say thank you so much for covering my songs. and doing it justice. And I was like, you're thanking me. I should be thanking you,
That's
you know? And she
incredible,
was
yeah.
just like, thank you so much. So Change Me and You Never Loved Me were the only two songs that she wrote. The
Okay.
other songs, she had another writer write them for her. And I think it just hit her a certain way, you know? And I mean, she has, all her songs are amazing, but we chose to do those two, and just so crazy how life works. And she was so happy, and she was just like, I hope I get to share the stage with you one day. And I was like, oh, I was just in awe, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, Barbara Mason is talking to me on the phone right now. She gave me great advice about the industry. She gave me great advice of just in life in general. I did ask her about, like, you know, what inspired her to write You Never Loved Me at All. Like, did someone really do you dirty, girl? Because I want to know. You know? And she said no. She just wanted to put herself in someone else's shoes, as in some, like, you never loved me at all. So I was like, well, you knocked it out, because there's so many women that love that song.
Yeah.
And she was just like, no, thank you so much. And she is so sweet. She shows our team so much love. She'll send me a text like, Happy Mother's Day. And I'm like, Barbara Mason telling me Happy Mother's Day or Happy birthday. Like,
wow. It's
just so mind blowing, and I'm so blessed, super blessed. And yeah, and that track is just, it's just so funny, because she's like, I want to sing it like you sing it. I'm like,
wow. Yeah.
Like, I liked what you did. That little bridge part, you changed it, and you totally made it your own, and you didn't copy me like word for word. And it's true, I didn't want to, because I was like, let's switch it up, you know, let's Mariah-ize it and see. And she was like, I love it. I think you did a great job in it. Thank you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Barbara Mason is saying thank you to me. And
that's super special to be able to connect with a musician from the past like that, and then to kind of get that validation that your work, I mean, you made a big impact on her with that.
Yeah. So super and great woman, inside and out.
The last song I want to talk about is a collab with JQ, and it's How Long. So tell us how that started. I see you got the T-shirt on. I got really hyped when I saw the illustration. Yeah. What's that about?
How Long? Well, you know, a lot of people from the feedback, they love us together. Yeah. We just make a good team. And I'm like, hey, Joey, like, let's just throw another song out for the people, but let's just do an original. Like, let's do an original. He's like, yeah, I'm totally down. And once again, I was like, why we gotta do the sad songs? But it just hits home a little, you know. It's just kind of like, oh, it's so good. Yeah, so he actually wrote that song. Okay. And yeah, we got into the studio, and we tried to, like, you know, pick out harmonies and what we wanted to do. Like I said, like in that song, there's a part where we sing that. I was like, let's do something crazy, like we don't really hear too much, or, you know, just out of the box, out of our comfort zone. And he's such a team player, though. He was like, whatever you want to do, I think whatever, it sounds good, sounds great. I'm like, okay. And the backup vocals too. Once again, I had my friend come out, Avila. She did backups for me, and it didn't take that long for us to lay down the track. It's just the chemistry that we have. You know, we have really good chemistry, and we get along very well. So it's easy. It's like it's natural. So, and then, you know, just the people really like us together. They love us singing together. I get so many people, how's Joey? Hey, when are you guys going to do another track? Hey, when are you going to do another single? You know? And yeah, we make a great team. So How Long is an original track, and I can't wait for us to actually sing it live too. So
that would be dope.
It's beautiful.
I love how that song starts. It's really dope.
Yeah, and it's very I wouldn't even put it into like the modern soul. It has that the oldness in it, you know?
No, very much.
Yeah. And it's cool. A lot of and I like songs like that too. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the modern stuff. I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, maybe it just reminds me so much of like my childhood that I'm like, okay, this is cool. So yeah, I can't wait for us to sing it live. I think it'd be great. And the t-shirts are going to be coming out soon. The vinyls will be coming out too. The vinyls are so cute. They're so cute. And for some reason, I was like, I think we should have us as cartoons.
Is that what inspired that?
Yeah, I was like, why do I pictured us like I Love Lucy. So that's where that was inspired, was the I Love Lucy.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And
I had no idea. I was just like, I love that extra stuff when we can see the musicians that we love in a different light, whether it's an illustration, whether it's a music video. So I think it's super cool
that's
that y'all
what I
have your
wanted.
cartoonized.
I just saw us as singing, like, I just saw I Love Lucy, you know, and I wanted us to have like the little Joey and myself. It's so cute. I can show you really fast. Hold on.
Yeah.
Right here. This is the vinyl that will be released pretty soon. It's a nice color too.
Oh, okay. Well, look at that label.
So you see Miriah right there with her little dress, and then Joey Quinones with his hair slicked to the side. It totally like reminds me of I Love Lucy, and that's what I really wanted. My Frankie Fingers is he's a tattoo artist, and he's the one who actually drew out this for us.
Okay.
So he's great tattoo artist. So yeah, that's what I saw, and I was like, well, how do you feel? He's like, I like it. It's different, you know, because usually they have him with his little sarape and stuff, and I was like, no, that's just too classic, Joey. I think it'd be great. I think that'd be cool.
Shout out to IMG too. I think the labels that come out on these 45s, they're always beautiful, from the colors to the different designs on there. And I mean, that's just another one that takes it up a notch, because we're not seeing this across the scene. So I always pay attention and focus and like to acknowledge when, you know, there's that kind of detail put into the physical product.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. Even for some of the, I could show you, is that okay if I could show you some of the vinyls that I have?
Let's do show and tell. Let's kick it off.
Okay. Let's do it. If I could find them. Where are they? All right. So the first one is the gem.
Okay. Oh, look at that emerald green.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty.
Yeah.
And
oh, you pulled them off the wall. You pulled them off the wall.
Yes. And then we have the classic Agree to Disagree.
Yeah.
On there.
Uh-huh.
This one's Change Me.
Ooh. Ooh, wait, time out. You got to tell them about the premiumness that came with that, right? That was a limited edition pack.
So
let them know.
We did this cool package thing with Izzy Rose. Rose, she handcrafts her own earrings. I should have worn them. And we did a collab with her. So I believe it was the first 50 buyers that bought the vinyl, they would get a pair of earrings, and it has the little roses on the earrings. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Shout out to Izzy Rose. She's watching.
Shout out to Izzy Rose.
Yeah. So that's that one. And then Hypnotize. And we did it purple because my favorite color is purple.
Okay.
So we did it purple.
I love that color. Yeah.
Beautiful color. And then we wanted to keep the red because of the Barbara Mason. So this is You Never Loved Me.
Translucent red. It's always a good time to use translucent red.
Yes. And then the slow change up. My favorite slow change up.
Love that. I love that label. I love that label. I do. I think it's so cool.
Yeah?
You don't like it?
She's mad at me about it.
I was a little upset.
Really?
I was a little upset. I had a different vision.
What did
it's okay.
you want?
I didn't want yellow.
It looks amazing as a DJ, though. As a DJ,
hey, Miriah, this isn't part of the script.
It reminds me of Beetlejuice.
It glows in the dark, though, in the nighttime when you DJ. I'm just saying.
It reminds me of
No,
Beetlejuice.
it glows in the
Yeah,
dark.
put it in the nighttime when you play it, when you DJ, and it has a glow into the middle of it. But she didn't. She was mad at me about it. So
I was like, it looks like Big Bird. But yeah, it's a great track though. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. And yeah, those are it. It's most of them, I think.
Yeah, and only two back there.
Oh, and only is it's a light pink. That's the one that you have.
Yeah.
You have and only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to your honesty. I never experienced anything like that before on a live stream where an artist admits that they don't like the label on the 45.
It's not that I don't like it. I just, I had a different vision of the colors. But I do want to bring out another vinyl.
You got some
not my own.
Facts, right?
Yeah, with my grandmother.
Yeah,
let's
do it. Let's do it.
So this one. So the cool thing is that this is in Spanish. She wrote a lot in Spanish, and this is hers right here.
Ooh, okay.
And you can see her name right here, Nancy Varial.
Wow.
So it's so cool. When we found my mom, she found you in Love Again. She found a bunch of 45s and music and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Here I am pressing 45s, and my grandma was part of that too. So
yeah,
that's so cool.
Beautiful.
Super cool.
And what does it sound like? What does that sound like? Just so we know. You don't have to play it, but just give us.
It sounds really old. Really old.
Okay.
Well, it's Lo Vas a Pagar is a ranchera. So she's not singing on it. She wrote this song for a mariachi singer from San Antonio, Texas, and it's him singing the song. But it's the emotion that's coming out of that song. It's like, well, you're gonna pay, that kind of emotion. Like, he wasn't too angry, but you could feel like, woo. But lyrically, I was like, whoa, Grandma, you must have felt some way, because woo, she was not playing around. She was like, boy, man, you're going to pay. She's like, you're going to pay. Even for You in Love Again, when she was writing out, it was so old school. It was like on a yellow notepad. And at first I was like, my grandma didn't write this. She's tripping. And then I was like, no, she wrote it. She wrote it. And so, I'm reading the lyrics and I'm just like, my gosh, who hurt her? I want to know, all this pain. Right. And I had no idea, what she was trying to sing it, or the medley of it. I had no idea. I just made it up. And Joey's track just helped. And she was a beautiful writer. She has a lot of songs, but in Spanish.
Okay. So
hopefully one day I'll be able to flip them and do something like that. I think it'd be really, really cool. I really want to do a Spanish track too, just to kind of go back to the old roots, Yeah. And so it's crazy. This is mind blowing just to have all these vinyls, and in color. They're colored vinyls.
I love color variants.
There's a lot of people that are like, I'm like, oh, so you own a record player? No, I just like the way they look. Perfect.
Yeah.
They're so pretty. They're very, very pretty.
It's like art. I see the vinyl. I see the inserts. To me, it's like art. It's something that we visualize and we connect to. And then we're also treated to putting that record on the turntable and we hear the sounds. And I just think that full package, it matters. It makes a difference. And again, that attention to detail is what enthusiasts love. So I feel what you're saying there. And I want to also say, I think it's so awesome that we got space to kind of talk about, what your grandmother had done, and then to be able to see the actual record that she, wrote to. That's special.
So crazy. And it just, I don't know. It's just these moments that you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
What life is, It's cool. It's cool. It's so funny when I wrote The Gem and I sang it to my mother, the first thing out of her mouth was, you're so like your grandma.
Wow. What a compliment.
I was like, what do you mean? She's like, your grandma. You're just like, you're my mother when it comes to, to writing. And I'm like, yeah. It's crazy. And when I wrote that song, I was like, oh I'm writing. And now I'm like, wow, I'm writing. This is really happening. I'm writing songs and they're just kind of flowing. And it took a little push and a little heartbreak to get me out there. And now they're just flowing and flowing. We do have more original stuff that's going to be coming out pretty soon. So I'm really excited. Now I'm working with Adrian Carmine.
Shout out to AC. We love AC.
He is so dope. That's another person, like just the chemistry, yeah. I don't even have to tell him anything. I'm like, dude, are you reading my mind? Because you're doing a great job. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. And he's so nice, very talented. That man has good range too. My goodness, can he sing? Yeah. He could really sing. And he's just so like into his work. Like, he's a perfectionist, and like I love that. Like, he's so solid. So, and he's a lot of fun. He's funny. He's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm working with him, and hopefully we get to do some more things with Adrian, and hopefully some duets or something. So you guys stay tuned for that one.
Get me excited when you talk about duets and things like that. Now, we got 2 more questions before we sign off. I ask all my guests this one particular question. Is there a quote or a mantra that is close to your heart that maybe is something that you've heard over and over again, or you've told yourself throughout your journey?
There's 2 that I have. Just to keep going.
Yeah.
Just to keep believing in yourself. And, I think you have to remind yourself that, especially in an industry like this and being surrounded by a ton of people, just to keep pushing, keep going. Don't give up. You could do this. Another one is rejection is God's protection. I always remind myself that one.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know. It's really deep. But I remind myself that, when things don't go the way you want them to go, or, you've had high hopes for something and you're just like, damn, why didn't it happen? It's kind of like, it's because he's protecting you. So, and
I'm going to steal that. I hope you don't mind. I need to steal that.
I needed to hear that.
And sometimes, it's not meant to be, and it's the man up above just protecting you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And later on we'll understand, okay, now I know why it didn't work out for me. And that one, it's close to my heart because I got it tattooed on me. So that's how it stays with me. And sometimes you have to remind yourself that, and yeah, that one's really deep. So
that's huge. And I'm so glad you said that, because I think, for all of us, no matter what it is, whether it's career, whether it's hobby, whatever, you've got to be your biggest cheerleader,
Yes, you do.
No one else is going to do it for you, but it's that person in the mirror that you see every day. You got to cheer yourself.
Exactly.
Exactly. I've never said this before, but, probably like the first 100 live stream interviews I did, I treated every single one of those like I was coming out to play a championship game, and I would have my music in my ears. And as I would walk down that slim little hallway to that little 12-inch stepping stool that was in the corner that I would go and talk on for an hour, to me, that was the biggest deal. I had to do that so that I could have this kind of energy, because like you said, there's times where you're like, I'm done with this. I'm going to quit. I'm going to stop. So I think it's so important that support, you have a built-in support structure. It's you. We have to wear different hats. We've got to be our own infantry, our own boss, our own lead, all that stuff. And so you've just dropped so many, no pun intended, gems tonight for all of us to kind of absorb and really kind of put in our tool bag. So I want to thank you for that. Before we dip, what can we expect in 2023, and how can we find you? Where can we find where your shows are going to be? Where do we find the music? How do we follow you to see these updates and things? What's going on?
Well, you can find me here on Instagram. That's Miriah, MIRIAH_Avila. You hit me up on Facebook too. I kind of go on there here and there. You can find all my music on digital platforms, so Spotify, iTunes, Amazon too, huh? Amazon, and a girl got Pandora. I got a Pandora channel, so woo-hoo! You can find me on there too. You could check out IMG Industry Music Group, Bandcamp for all the vinyls. To purchase that, even the merch too. You could buy the merch there.
Okay, that's where we can get the T-shirt.
Yes. So, and I believe we're gonna do a bundle. We're gonna do a bundle with How Long and the vinyl. You can find us there. I do have my CDs too, if you guys, because you know we got some old school people that are like, "Hey, got any CDs?" We do have
that
CDs.
album is fire.
Yeah.
Y'all need to put that on wax. Can we get that on vinyl?
Dude, you're like the fourth person this week that's asked me. They're like, "No, do you have the whole album?" I'm like, "We don't. We only have like, dude, you gotta get it on vinyl." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're right, we do." But yeah, you can find it all on Bandcamp. Upcoming shows. So February 10th, I'll be performing at the Oxnard Performing Arts with Brenton Wood, Baby Bash, Lighter Shade of Brown, Pepe Marquez, and a couple of other artists there too. And then February 11th.
That's a nice roster.
Yes. And February 11th, this is going to be with Brenton Wood and Barbara Mason. So yeah, I know. Super, super exciting. And I'm going to be hitting Stockton, Reno, San Diego, Texas. What are the ones?
Arizona.
Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working on something for Chicago.
And Chicago, or we're working on Chicago. But you can find all my details either on Instagram or just go to imgindustrymusicgroup.com and yeah, purchase your tickets, or you know, just come out and just say hello. And I'll do any of the lowriders, or I'll post here and there if I'm just gonna drop in somewhere on my Instagram. But yeah, go find me out and watch all my videos. And thank you guys for watching.
Shout out to the music videos. Shout out to the music videos. We don't see enough of those, but IMG takes care of that for us.
Right?
I miss the MTV days. You know, you come home, you get off the bus, turn on the TV.
Yeah, you can find all my videos on Vivo too. Agree to Disagree, Hypnotize, You Never Love Me. Yeah, and we are going to be releasing some new stuff too, new music videos. So you guys stay tuned. That's gonna happen. I am due, so it's gonna happen. And just thank you guys so much for loving and supporting my music and believing in me and believing in my team. And we have some great things happening this year. I already said it earlier in the beginning of this year. I was like, this is my year. This is gonna happen. I'm gonna manifest it. This is my year. It's gonna happen.
I love it.
Yeah, you guys stay tuned.
I want to thank you so much for making time to be here. You know, I had discovered your music early on in 2020 through Industry Music Group, and it is so awesome to have you make an appearance on a Waxvillain live stream. I think you're just fantastic with, you know, like I said, all the knowledge that you shared with us, the different lenses you gave into the different stages of your career. So thank you so much for being here tonight. You're welcome back anytime, and if we can do anything to help, just reach out. All right, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to everybody who turned in for that full hour and 7 minutes, y'all. We're going to stream it a little later. Waxvillain, Seattle, Washington. We're out of here. Take care, y'all.
Bye.